All right, let's jump right into this explainer. If you're a business leader, manager, or strategist trying to navigate the AI boom, this one is tailored specifically for you. Today, we're unpacking some really groundbreaking research from Advait Sarkar. He actually just presented this on the TED stage, and it asks a pretty provocative question. Is our aggressive push to integrate AI actually sabotaging our team's long-term innovation? Look, as a leader, you are constantly trying to walk that tightrope between hitting productivity metrics and fostering deep, original thinking. So we're going to break down exactly why defending human cognitive agency is way more than just some abstract philosophical debate. It is literally a critical business strategy.
So naturally, you want your team to be efficient. But Sarkar points out a really dangerous side effect to all this new tech. When your workforce uses AI just to, summarize a 50-page document or autocomplete their emails, they actually stop inhabiting their own ideas. They become what he calls intellectual tourists in their own work. They just visit a concept for a second, let the AI do the heavy lifting, and then completely move on, without ever really understanding the landscape.
To understand how this happens, let's look at Section 1, the age of outsourced reason.
If you really want to grasp the risk this whole intellectual tourism poses to your company, just think about what the daily life of a modern knowledge worker actually looks like now. Take writer's block. Think about writer's block back in the day. You'd stare at a blank page, struggle to piece your thoughts together, and really wrestle with the material until you finally found your angle, right? Now, contrast that with writer's block today. You're just staring at a fully drafted page generated by an AI, sitting there wondering, do I agree with this? It's a huge shift. Your highly paid, highly skilled employees aren't really engaging with the materials of their craft anymore. In a lot of ways, they've been reduced to just being professional validators of a robot's opinions.
And that brings us to Section 2, the hidden cognitive costs.
Because if your people are just validating AI output all day, what exactly happens to your company's collective intelligence? Well, the research quantifies this directly, and the results are kind of wild. When teams rely on AI for group brainstorming, they don't magically become more creative. They actually produce a much smaller range of ideas. It creates this boring hive mind effect where everyone just suggests the same 5 concepts over and over. When it comes to problem solving, workers self-report that they put far less effort into critical thinking. And when they rely on AI reading summaries instead of tackling the source material, they remember significantly less of the actual data. So sure, efficiency is way up, but deep understanding? It's plummeting.
Ultimately, this loss of deep understanding comes down to one really crucial concept: metacognition. Now, metacognition is just a fancy way of describing your ability to think about your own thinking process. It's how you break down a goal, evaluate your own work, and reason your way through a complex problem. And it's a skill that is entirely built through direct, manual engagement with your work. By outsourcing all these mundane tasks to AI, we are completely bypassing metacognition. We are effectively turning our absolute brightest employees into middle managers for their own thoughts, totally disconnected from the very processes that make them so valuable to us in the first place.
Okay, let's move to Section 3, protecting cognitive musculature.
If we genuinely want to preserve long-term professional development, we have to start treating everyday, seemingly mundane tasks as the workout equipment for your team's brains. I absolutely love how Sarkar phrases this. He says it's like we invented a cure for exercise, and then we stand around wondering why we're out of breath all the time. Studies consistently show that when we don't use our brains, they quite literally get worse at doing brain things. Cognitive musculature atrophies when you aren't manually engaging it. Think about it. If you strip away the everyday opportunities for your team to flex their critical thinking, memory, and creativity, they simply won't have the mental stamina required when a truly complex, high-stakes business problem eventually lands on their desk.
So how do we fix this? Let's dive into Section 4, building tools for thought.
The good news is that elite researchers over at Microsoft have already developed a framework to solve this exact problem. We don't have to ban AI at the office. We just need a paradigm shift. Right now, we treat AI as an assistant. It blindly obeys, automates the known processes, and focuses entirely on getting the job done fast. But what if we treat AI as a tool for thought? A tool for thought actually challenges the user. It helps your team ask the right questions, explore the unknown, and get the job done better. It provides what these researchers call productive resistance. It pushes back just enough to force the human brain to wake up and engage.
To make this concrete, let's look at a practical business scenario. Meet Clara. She's a fictitious persona the researchers created, and her task is to analyze a super dense industry report on sustainable packaging and then draft a complex proposal for her company. In this prototype workflow, Clara does not just drop 50 PDFs into a chat box and say, hey, write this for me. No, first, she curates the documents herself. Then she reads them using AI-customized lenses. These are micro-representations of the text that highlight relevant info. So she's still doing the reading, she's just doing it highly strategically. After that, she actually builds the outline and the flow of her argument manually. This ensures she remains deeply connected to the source material and firmly grounded in her own expertise.
But here is where it gets really fascinating. As Clara starts writing, the AI isn't hovering there trying to autocomplete her sentences. Instead, it silently offers what the researchers call provocations. These are AI-generated critiques, alternatives, and counterarguments. They just pop up alongside her work, forcing her to consider different angles. She has to pause and decide, do I accept this critique or do I reject it? And that simple decision, that keeps her fully metacognitively engaged.
The results of implementing a hybrid workflow like this are just remarkable. By applying these really simple design principles, preserving that material engagement, and offering a bit of productive resistance, your team can still work incredibly fast, but they maintain the deep roots of their unique professional expertise. This approach actively reverses that loss of creativity we talked about earlier. It forcibly reintroduces critical thinking back into AI-assisted workflows. You get the awesome speed of the technology, but you completely protect human thought. It's the best of both worlds.
Which leads us perfectly into our final point, Section 5, Preserving Human Agency.
At the end of the day, successfully navigating the digital age isn't just about tweaking a few productivity metrics. It is about fundamentally protecting the human agency that drives true corporate innovation and long-term success. Sarkar jokes in his research that we're all trained to believe there's no such thing as a free lunch. But as he puts it, this is a lunch that actually pays you to eat it. When you implement tools that challenge your workforce, yes, you reap the immediate rewards of speed, but you also cultivate a highly developed, deeply capable workforce that literally grows smarter every single day.
So, I want to leave you with a choice that really gets to the heart of all this research. As you integrate these powerful technologies into your operations, what exactly are you optimizing for? Will you deploy tools that do the thinking for your business, slowly eroding your team's cognitive musculature? Or will you build an environment that forces your team to think bigger? The future of your company's innovation depends entirely on your answer.